So this is my quarantine tank for now. It won't be for much longer because I'm moving this tank into the office, and I'm going to make a quite sort of natural scape out of it by some real wood, different plants, and I'm going to go back to under gravel filters. I want to give the fish that are going to be in here as much room as possible. If I was going to keep endlers or something like that, I wouldn't even put a heater in here, but because I live in Florida and mostly the tanks will be at a decent temperature for guppies. I've not put heaters in with my guppies before and they're fine. And I thought it would be quite nice to have it as bare inside, apart from the plants, the stones and things like that, and the wood. But basically when I make a quarantine tank, I've always done it this way since I've had quarantine tanks. I've never used to have them years and years ago because you never seemed to need one. Fish was a lot more sturdy back then, and I had tanks for at least 10 years, and I only got white spot once, I think. It's just something you just didn't get. So what I do with my quarantine tanks is I try to make them as near to the tank that the fish are going to go into. I think I have said this before, but I think that you can't stress enough how important quarantine tanks are. I do use a lot of fake plants because when you need to put medication into tanks, you end up losing your plants. But I do start off with real plants as well. And as you can see, I've also got guppies in here. One is quite an old guppy. She's one of my oldest. She's in here. I have a deformed female guppy that I didn't want to breed, and a couple of babies I'd just taken out the tank when they were very tiny, and put them in here, and they happened to be females, and one of the females was born in here, the smallest one. So I keep these guppies in my quarantine tank. Mostly because when you put new fish into a tank with nothing in it, I found that I lose a lot more, and they seem to be more prone to illnesses. Now guppies are fine, I can put white spot treatment in here when they're in here and they're fine. That doesn't seem to worry them. It's almost like they're the welcoming party, I suppose. I don't usually buy very many fish. This is a 10 gallon, so if I'm going to buy fish, usually I only buy a few, and they live in here for at least 6 weeks. So I like it to be as close to the tanks they're going to go into, so when I take them out of this and I put them in the bigger tanks, it's not a shock. They know near enough that the area they're going into is the same as this. I'm not fond of bare bottom tanks. I think that when you buy a fish, you give it from the start of bringing it home a good home. And so at the moment I'm just taking out plants here and there and putting some live plants for new fish to hide in, and then I'm getting a couple of neons. I want to make the group of neons I've got in my bigger tank larger. I'd like to have about 20 of them, and I'll probably get a couple more Cory cats because I lost 2 of my oldest ones, so I need to replace them. I'm sure people do their quarantine tags all different and they have just as much luck, but I do find that they don't seem to stress, and one of the biggest reasons that fish get white spot is they stress. And once they see these guppies swimming about quite happy, you know, they seem to settle it a lot better. They don't get stressed, and I don't get so many illnesses.